and Wednesday. Welcome to my Twin Flame TV and Tarot channel. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded, but to be honest, I've had quite a little bit of healing to do. I've had things happen in my own life that have caused me to go within rather than focus on external things. One of them was emotionally trying to deal with the ancestral karma that I've tried to heal in my own family. On top of that, my twin got in touch with me after 2.5 years of zero contact. And even though it was nice to catch up with him, I discovered that we are not in alignment. And coming to this conclusion led me to want to take a look at why that is. And anyone who's been on this journey for a while and has done a very large part of their inner work will know that what goes on in your twin flame connection in the physical is often a physical manifestation of yours and your twins in a state. You are still mirroring things back to each other that require your attention and healing. So realizing that we're not in alignment caused me to question what it is within my own self that still requires work. One of the things is, or was, that even though I've worked on myself in a big way, there were still little things like consistency within certain things that I was doing that I was lacking, for instance. So I've been working on that. Also, it made me take a look at how I actually feel. And the biggest thing that him coming back around has shown me is that I'm now at such a point in my own healing and practice of self-love that, first of all, I didn't make my shit, his shit mine, which meant that I had no desire to fix him or our connection or actively assist in his healing. Which was a big thing for me, because before I would have tried to fix him or tried to heal him or given him a good part of my energy to heal him. This time, I felt protective of my energy. I didn't want to share my essence. I felt protective of my own energy. And that was a big thing for me, because it made me realize that for the first time since my journey started, that I'm actually choosing myself over even him. And that was really huge. It's humbled me in a way, yeah. Because it made me realize how much I've actually healed and grown through my experience with him. And even though I love him unconditionally, it made me realize that I've grown to love myself even more. And that was a really, really, really big thing for me, you know. Another thing that I've had to work on for the last 2 years of my life is integrating my shadow aspects. Now, what I mean by this is that as a spiritual person and a light worker, I always believed that I have to be all about love and light, and that I have to transmute all of the shadow of my own self. And for the last 2 years, I've come to the realization that what I was trying to do was nothing but spiritual bypassing. It's just as much being in self-denial as lower ego consciousness is. You know, the denial of the true self. And it's taken me a long time to accept the darker side of my nature. It's taken me a long time to accept that the beast inside of me is asleep rather than keep trying to kill it. And I've come to realize that sometimes I need the darker parts of my nature, especially when I'm dealing with people that refuse to accept or respect my boundaries, or I'm dealing with people that are going out of their way to cause me anguish or harm for their own self-gratification, or when I come to the conclusion that somebody is trying to take advantage of my gifts or me as a person. And I always reply with distance when this happens. But there are people that don't accept that you've cut them off, or try to move against you for doing so. Yeah. And whereas before I would deny myself to move against them, to put them in their place, I've come to the realization that sometimes people need to see the darker side of you to know who and what they're dealing with. And I will never, ever go out of my way to harm anyone. I love humanity. I try to help people align with their true self and step into their purpose and live better and happier lives with deep connections and better relationships to themselves and other people. But if I'm dealing with someone that does not understand any other language than for me to show them, then I have absolutely no qualms in doing that. I've learned to not only accept the darker parts of myself, but to use them as fuel. Because the more you wrong me, you're only making me better. The more you wrong me, the more strength and power you are giving me. And if you still don't get it, I'm going to show you how mighty your fuckery has made me, you know. And that was a really big thing for me. Whereas before, I would have gone away quietly. Yeah. I've now realized that if somebody does not respect the distance that I put between us, and they're not giving me any other choice, that it's okay for me to be human, it's okay for me to be pissed off, and it is absolutely okay for me to move against them. I do not have any problem anymore with being the villain in somebody else's story. In fact, I'm very much in my villain era. I will gladly put you in your place if you step to me. And I have no qualms about doing so. I will also not tolerate injustices towards vulnerable people. I'm a Queen of Wands. I'm the public defender. I'm the bully that bullies the bully. And I give myself permission to do that if that is what a situation requires. So for all the people that met me while I was still wounded and people-pleasing and wanting to be nice, I'm really sorry, but I'm not fucking sorry. You know, I've got no issues with speaking my truth. I've got absolutely no issues with moving against someone that does not respect the distance that I create. So, you know, accepting myself to the extent where I'm perfectly willing to live my dark if life requires me to do so was a really big step towards being my true, authentic self. And that was another thing that took me a long time to not only accept but heal within myself, giving myself permission to be a bitch when I need to. So, you know, and caring less and less and less about what people think or feel about what I say, do, or who I am. I mean, I'm an empath. I, for reasons of self-preservation, cannot afford to give a flying fuck about how people feel about what I do, say, or who I am, or what they feel, say, or do in general. If I did, I would be allowing people to drain me like I did while I was so polarized and wounded and, you know, in my polarized feminine energy. So, you know, that's really changed for me. And seeing how protective I've become over my own energy and that I'm not letting anyone disturb my peace anymore was really the culmination of everything that I've been through since I went into separation. So for that alone, it was all worth it, you know, because I'm in a really self-empowered, self-aware and self-loving place in my life, you know. And I'm really, really grateful that I've been able to integrate all aspects of who I am. And that's a real big thing, you know. And as for my twin, we're in no contact again. But I've also observed that every time he leaves, it becomes easier and easier for me to just let him. So that's also shown me that I've come a really, really, really long way. I wanted to share this with you all because, as you know, I'm a twin myself and I am no less on this journey than any of you. And I hope that you can gain some insight from this for yourself. And thank you for your time. The next video I'm going to do is going to be about what happens to the masculine when the divine feminine stops chasing. I've been receiving a lot of emails from divine feminines asking me if this journey is one-sided and that they don't have any insight to what the masculine actually goes through in separation. And I wanted to elaborate on the stages that the divine masculine goes through when the feminine decides to surrender, stop chasing, and heals herself. So that'll be coming up very soon, and I hope you'll join me for that. And I'll see you very soon, and goodbye.